'Twas a bright Christmas morn, and all through the house 2 creatures were stirring. No, not a mouse. 2 podcasters to share tales of Yuletide fright. Tales that will surely haunt you into the night. I think I nailed that.
So grab your cookies and grab your milk. Turn off the lights and put on your silk. Lay your head for a good night's sleep and try to ignore Krampus and Belsnickel while the children weep.
Cut to us weep.
Oh, hi!
My name's Jazzy.
And I'm Addi. I did not write an actual intro.
We just wrote a fun little rhyme.
Yeah, okay, let's do that real quick.
Hi, I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
And welcome to another episode of the What Was That podcast. Today, if you couldn't tell by our really good rhyme at the beginning, we're going to talk about some spooky Christmas characters of lore. So, Krampus and Belsnickel. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
I am too. Yeah, it's going to be super fun. We've had 3 holidays within a very close time, so maybe we'll do like a poll on this episode because we'll have a New Year's special episode coming up, which we'll put out next Wednesday, which if you're listening to this, it's next Wednesday. Yes.
Yeah.
But that will be a New Year's special episode where, again, we will not be reading stories. We will be doing something a little different. We're just trying stuff out. I mean, this is literally this is 13 and New Year's will be 14. So we're still...
Yeah, we're still in infancy.
Yeah, we're still messing around.
But yeah, let us know how you like these episodes. If there's anything you want to hear about that we could do research on that someone else hasn't.
Or if you even like us. Yeah, if you even like us.
Of course you like us.
If you even like us doing the research episodes.
Yeah.
If they're boring or useless or not what you want to listen to, that's okay. We can handle it. But we like them. They're fun. They're a different setting from the story. So, I don't know.
Variety's the spice of life, so.
Yeah, and it's not like we're doing them all the time.
No.
I mean, it's only been a couple holidays, so chill out.
They're just consecutive. Wait till like June. Obviously, we're gonna have.
What
some
are we gonna
birthday
do
episodes.
for July 4th?
I don't know.
Are we gonna do like Memorial
the history
Day?
Of fireworks. We should do every single holiday.
Every holiday.
Welcome to National Waffle Day. Here's our stories exclusively on waffles.
Where waffles came from and how they appear in horror movies. Have you seen Stranger Things? Well, I will start with Krampus. Every hero has their counterpart. Spider-Man has Venom, Superman has Bizarro, and Santa has Krampus. To start from the beginning, we need to know where Christmas really originated from. So we all know it was a pagan holiday, but let's go even further. Ancient Romans celebrated Saturnalia in honor of the god Saturn, who was the god of agriculture. As we know, Romans love their gods. This was a month-long celebration where everyone would eat and drink and be happy and have a great time. And they would also celebrate Juvenalia, which was a big feast that was honoring children. So on top of that, the upper class also celebrated the birth of the god Mirtha, who was the god of the unconquerable sun. What day would that birth be? Good question. It was December 25th.
Oh,
the most sacred day of the year.
How interesting.
So, yeah, you have food, drink, happy children.
Mm-hmm.
And then the god of the undeniable sun. Or unconquerable sun. Undeniable sun.
Definitely the sun, but also
the sun. There was also the Nordic celebration of Yule, which was the celebration of the winter solstice in the time of the year where they could find the freshest meat from slaughter and all of the ales and wines would be finished fermenting. So everything is kind of at its peak. Everyone's eating, everyone's drinking, everyone's having a good time. And that's where the Yule log comes in. They used to burn Yule logs in honor of the solstice. And this is where they would also pay tribute to the pagan god Odin, and that's where the pagan holiday originated from. Then came along the Catholic Church. Everybody's like running and everything's on fire. Ruining it. Everything's ruined. Well, they decided, hey, so many people like this time of year. You know what? That's Jesus' birthday. Mm-hmm. Jesus was born that day. Yeah, you know what? That's ours now. Thank you. Thanks, Jesus. Oh, thank you for being here and taking this day and being born this day. That's what we said.
Yep.
That's what we said.
Yep.
Even though the birth story makes no sense, like why would a shepherd be
allegedly
herding sheep?
Springtime.
It is, which was Easter.
Yeah.
So that was the first and biggest holiday of the year for Catholics was Easter. But they said, no, I think we want more.
Yeah.
So they took over Yule, which was now the day that Jesus was born. And then Easter, now he's a zombie. So, that doesn't make sense. But it's Jesus' birthday now.
Yeah.
It's ours. Catholic Church says so. It's ours now. Sorry if you're Catholic. All right. So we have Jesus' birthday, whatever. Yeah. It's gone. Yule's gone. Pagan holiday's gone. All the traditions gone. Which you want to also know something interesting? They used to offer to Odin during Yule tributes, which they would burn on Yule logs. But some of those would be, can you guess? Can you guess what they would be?
I don't like playing guessing games.
Oh, okay.
Just tell me.
Frankincense.
Oh.
And myrrh. Yeah. So, you know, the Catholics were like, the story's already here. Let's just snatch it up. Let's get back to Krampus. Krampus has been around since the celebration of Nordic's Yule. He is said to be the son of Helle. That's how I think you say it. That's how I heard it when I listened to it. But I would Helle is the Nordic god of the underworld. Hell. Yep. So with the spread of Christianity, this demon figure tale has spread with it. So you have this Krampus demon baby of the underworld. And they saw that little tale and they were like, hey, taking that too. So a little thing to note also is Krampus comes from the German word Krampen.
It was good.
Thank you. Which means claw. Because he has claws.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Really on the nose. Very German to be that on the nose about something.
You know what also is named Claw? Santa Claus. Ding, 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 ding. She did it.
I know it.
Isn't that crazy? They're all like, mine. Just picking from a pot.
Yeah.
Krampus first came on the scene as Saint Nicholas's companion back in the 11th or 12th century Germany. It hasn't been pinpointed when it was kind of mainstreamed into the Alpine and Nordic culture, but it was assumed to be between 11th and 12th century. So he was the altar side of the happy, jolly, super awesome Saint Nicholas. Krampus was dark and scary. He had horns and hooves. He was half goat, half man. long, pointy tongue.
Oh my god!
Sorry, that peaked so bad. Hear me out.
I was talking.
I'm hearing
on the phone with Lee on the way here, and I was like, "Yeah, Krampus," and he's like, "Did you say something about your hear me out cake?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Is it on yours?" I was like, "I don't know if it's on mine, but I bet you anything it's on Addison."
Ooh, that feels targeted, but yes, it would be.
I've seen the data.
You
all I'm
know
saying
me.
is
You know what?
If I saw him in a bar, I'd be like, "Have you met my friend Addison? Have I got the?" I think I'm a really good wing woman, though. Not that we need it, but if we ever did run into Krampus at the bar and you were like, "Hey, introduce me." Pretty good wing woman. Anyway.
If I didn't have so much blush on, I would be so blushing right now. My cheeks are like... Anyway. So Krampus would visit children on the 5th of December and either beat misbehaving children with a birch stick. Like a little thing made of... A little bundle of birch twigs. Or in some cases, with the worst children, he would put them in a sack and he would take them to hell.
Amazing.
Yep. He said, "You're coming with me." And then on December 6th, St. Nick would come and bring all the good kids gifts and treats and snacks and whatnot. So again, we can see Christian influence taking over. St. Nicholas was a saint. And he was this wise, happy man who brings joy and presents, while we have Krampus, who goes around beating kids and dragging them to hell. So Krampus has evolved through time with even a movement to ban him in Austria as a whole. But now he's become sort of like a Christmas icon, which is amazing. So again, Christianity spread like wildfire, but we had this mass movement with like immigrants and religion coming over. Like everyone was coming over to the US like 1800s, 1900s. There was like these like Krampus holiday cards in the 1800s because people were like sending letters to their family who had now moved to what is now the United States and North America. So they were sending Krampus cards here starting in the 1800s, and that went on to like further the lore and the stories and legends of Krampus, which is one of the biggest things that Austria was like trying to ban, where they were like, "No more Krampus holiday cards.
Yeah.
You have to stop with the cards." They're like, "This is too much. This is satanic. This is bad. You can't be doing this," essentially. So, but that didn't do anything because they literally made a movie of Krampus in 2015. It was really good. It's like a funny, scary movie. We'll touch back on it later. But in a lot of European countries, they even have Krampusnacht, which is a large celebration in the streets for Krampus. People dress up. We'll put some pictures here. And drink and eat and terrorize children. Amazing. It's apparently supposed to be really fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it would be a great time. These parties have even started to spread to the US now, and people have just grabbed onto it. There's even Krampus animatronics that you can buy in store now. My neighbor, like 10 doors down that way, has one.
Oh.
But they took it down recently, actually, and I'm wondering if it's because of the HOA. Because
how recently?
Like, within the last couple of days.
I wonder, because technically when
it was December.
This, he would, okay.
Yeah, but I feel like that's still, like it's
personally,
Christmas time.
But yeah.
And he still has his, like, he has, like, a flag, and, like, it's still Krampus flag, so...
Okay, so they might have...
I'm wondering if it's the HOA.
Yeah,
but...
lame.
I don't know. But anyway, you can buy them. So, Krampus is just one of the many Christmas companions, but I think that he might be one of the scariest. There's people like Perkta and Belsnickel, but we have Krampus. And I was going to go over Perkta, but there's not a whole lot to go over with her. She's basically like Krampus's like buddy.
Okay.
And she is like, she takes form of an angel, but sometimes she's like an angel, sometimes she's a hag, but she also like kills and, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay, fun.
I think one of the cool things about Krampus is how much the church tried to push this as a figure to entice kids to be good, but Western culture just kind of like spun it around. Just like with a lot of Christmas movies, like the 2015 Krampus encapsulates the same sort of like, you gotta believe ideal or ideology, essentially. Instead of going strictly for misbehaving kids, this movie also goes towards adults who are misbehaving. So it's like, you really have to believe in the spirit of being good and the spirit of Christmas to kind of beat this thing, which we should watch Krampus at some point this month, because it is a really good movie. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Also, a funny thing to note is in the movie, he has little helpers, just like Santa Claus. So his little helpers are like all of these elves that have these like super German names.
Okay.
Yeah, super, super German names. But he also has like a clown, like a Jack-in-the-Box clown. He has like a little angel and a teddy bear and a robot and a puppet and a nutcracker. And he also has these demonic gingerbread men. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Krampus. He's awesome. I would love to be introduced to him at a bar. I think he'd be a great chat. I think he'd be a great time.
A lot of good stories, I imagine.
Next question. Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of sick. Look at him in this picture. Look at that tongue, dude. I'm just saying. Need I say more? Need I say more? You guys can all call me a freak. Sorry, Mom. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. Now I feel bad.
You should not feel. I think that was a very good presentation. Yay! Okay, so I remember learning about the Saturnalia in high school. So I was not cool in high school, and I took Latin, and I was in Latin club. And instead of learning a lot of what I should have been learning, we found different ways to distract our teacher. So we learned a lot about Roman history, so it was more of a history class. And we also had a lot of celebrations for no reason. So it's like, oh, I guess everyone has to bring in food because it's the Saturnalia, and we can't possibly have class. And we passed out these purple bandanas, because that was a common, like, to wear purple for that celebration. So we had purple bandanas, and one of the kids got pulled by the principal and the administration because they're like, oh, this is gang-related activity. And he was like, ma'am, I'm in Latin club. What gang do you think I'm in? Like,
that's really funny.
No. Kind of like what you covered in your presentation. We talked a lot about, I want to say it was Constantine, enter the right name here if that's wrong. On his deathbed, Roman emperor was like, you know what? Just in case, I'm just going to convert right now. And then he died. So, yeah, then after that, they took all of the existing holidays because the Roman Empire was already used to it. And they're like, rebrand, rebrand, rebrand. And I think in the 1950s, United States in general, but I'm sure other areas grabbed on to like Santa and Christmas. And they're like, rebrand.
Yep.
So, yeah, everything we do now has been rebranded.
Yup, like 100%. There's nothing unique about our culture whatsoever.
No, just little pieces from here and there.
Yup. So we do have a Reddit story for Krampus. For the Krampus.
For the Krampus.
So this is called a Krampus story. As I am a Balkan guy living in Austria, the tradition of Krampus is not so new for me. We got similar traditions in Croatia, Serbia, Bulgaria, Hungary, and most of the other countries on the Balkan Peninsula. But here, in Austria, the Krampus shows and parades can get pretty violent. Not as bad as approximately 10 to 15 years ago, but still pretty tough in some, nowadays, rare cases. So, inspired by the southern neighbors, pyrotechnics are pretty common at Krampus shows and parades. It seems some groups spend more of their time and money in great pyro shows than into their wooden, hand-carved, and all-unique masks. This happened in 2014 on the 2nd of December. In my village was a very large Krampus parade. The route, unfortunately, directly crossed my working place and a restaurant. It was about 8 p.m. and our restaurant was filled with guests, mostly kids and their parents. I was in the office calculating my order for our supplier when I heard children screaming in fear, so I immediately rushed to the bar counter and saw 3 Krampus with horrible masks surrounding 2 small Turkish kids. Well, as a foreigner living in this country, I know that most people in rural areas don't really like foreigners, especially Muslims, and those kids were obviously both. One of the devil's minions, his mask looked furiously angry with long teeth and a long tongue sticking out, as well as large Capricorn horns, held a trident with some kind of Bengal fire attached to it, what filled the whole guest room with smoke and a sulfuric smell. I knew the smell very well from the football stadium. He wore thick black fur on his waist, and there was a heavy iron chain worn as a belt. The others had scary masks too, but the one with the Capricorn horns was clearly the scariest, plus the alpha of the group. All Krampuses also have large cowbells attached somewhere on their costume, and since a few years, above the eye holes, they have small red or blue LEDs for a glowing eye effect. I looked back into the kitchen and called for Demir and Flamur, 2 cooks, muscular built, and in the same kickboxing club as me, to come and help de-escalate the situation. They nearly instantly showed up through the door, and without explanation, they knew why I called for them. We grouped up at the bar, where 2 female service employees crouched on the floor. We made our way around the counter and approached the scene. Many people, even grown men, just stood beside and watched, as the 3 devils surrounded the children. Who I later found out was her mother, was standing a few meters behind, shouting and crying at the men with the masks. I grabbed the alpha on his shoulder, totally forgetting that I shat my pants when I saw them as a kid, and pulled him back half a meter. My friend Demir grabbed his trident, and Flamir blocking one of his friends is what made the 3rd one back up. The alpha started to scream below his heavy mask and use swear words, and I could smell the alcohol through the holes in the wooden carved face. He tried to push me back, but Demir held his other arm and we pulled him to the exit, where the parade was still passing by. His friends rushed outside on their way, grabbed their alpha, and pulled him into the mob that the devils were in and moving past our restaurant. Well, in Austria, Krampuses need to wear identification numbers to minimize the chance of assaults on people, but all 3 of them had none. While Flamur and Demir went back inside to open the windows, that fucking smoke burning in your eyes and throat when the fire is used inside a closed room, I went into the parade to find some sort of responsible person or police officer I could talk to. After a few minutes, and with the help of 2 girls dressed up as angels, they were part of the parade, I found the vice mayor of our village and told him what happened. Unfortunately, many devils had large Capricorn horns, and as they were a trend at the moment and my description fit one too many devils, after filing a police report, I went back to our restaurant and ended my shift as usual. When I finished, as always, I left as the last one. I went outside and locked the door, lit a cigarette, and walked to my car a few corners away. I thought I heard faint sounds of cowbells in the distance, but shrugged it off and moved on. On the left side of the street, there were buildings. On the other side, there was a field bordering a forest. I moved on to my car when I heard the sound of multiple cowbells not very far from me. I froze again, concentrated on every sound I could hear. Somewhere near me, a cat hissed and searched through a trash can. At least, I assumed that. I could hear a train passing the town and other usual night sounds. When I reached my car, I pushed the button on my key. I clearly heard cowbells behind me. There was only dark forest. I stared, frozen, but could see nothing. I turned and opened my car door, and suddenly a loud growl came from the forest, and I saw 2 dim red lights at the first tree line. Then 4. Then 6. then 8, then 10. I squinted at the trees to make some sort of details out, and after a few seconds, there was no doubt that the dark figures with glowing eyes walked out of the thicket into the field. I turned around and hopped into my car, put it in reverse, and started the engine, rushed backwards onto the street, and drove the fuck out of there. I've never been home so fast. At least 5 devils stood in the forest, trying to scare me. Or wasn't it aimed at me? I will probably never find out. But after the incident at the restaurant, I doubt that it was coincidentally me that they scared. Yep. That's it. That was a long story, but made me like super short of breath. But so that's it. And that's pretty much, you see that a lot in what I've read about it, is that these stories are like super crazy parties. Yeah. So.
Damn.
Yep.
Could you imagine you're like just trying to go home and you see the little light or the little eyes just staring at you
from across the field?
There's multiple.
And all these monsters have been walking around all night, like petrifying people. No.
Yeah. So I imagine it's like, you know, when you watch a really scary movie, then all day after that you're kind of on edge
jumpy.
A little bit.
Yeah. That's what it would be like. Yeah.
And then that happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's all I have to say about that. That was a story. Now it's your turn. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. For my presentation, I am doing Belsnickel, which was noted in your Krampus presentation. And there's a lot of similarities between the two, I would say. Belsnickel is probably an adaptation to make it a little more fun and cheeky for the holiday season and less, I'm gonna drag these kids down to hell. Belsnickel is a crotchety, fur-clad Christmas figure who comes from the folklore of southwestern Germany. He falls into the St. Nicholas clan, but he's not counted as the Saint. The clan of St. Nicholas.
Yeah.
But they're not the same person. He visits homes before Christmas to check up on the behavior of children, showing up at houses 1-2 weeks before Christmas, and he always just somehow knew which child misbehaved. So his appearance is just wild, untamed, large figure, with his beard and his hair unkept. He's wearing torn and tattered clothes. He's dirty. I imagine he's smelly. And he's adorned with foliage, antlers, and other like leaves and dirt. His hat is made of fur and often has antlers attached, which is part of the reason people are like, oh yeah, you're exactly Krampus. But it's a bit of an adaptation or like...
Okay, because he's like a person.
He's a human as opposed to...
Yeah, but he's just wearing...
He's dressed up. Upon his arrival, children are asked to answer questions for him or sing along in a song. And very similar to the episode of The Office, the Christmas one where Dwight dresses up as Belsnickel, he's seen asking his coworkers if they were impish or admirable. So that's kind of what he does. It's like, were you good or bad?
Were you impish or admirable this year?
This year?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit impish.
Why were you impish?
I will say I was more impish pre-April because I was single.
Yeah. Mustache was involved.
Yeah. That's some impish. Not only mustache, but there's a mustache. Oh, yeah. I forgot about him. Yeah, he was really sweet, but yeah, there was not.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Anyway, so impish.
Okay.
What is yours?
I would say admirable. I would say I did a lot of good stuff this year.
That's good.
So, not to like, like toot my horn. That's this year was like good.
Yeah.
It was a pretty solid year. Like nothing really changed. I've been in a really good, amazing relationship. I have a great job.
Yeah.
I started a podcast with my best friend.
Pretty
That's pretty cool.
Pretty admirable, I'd say.
Yeah, I did a lot of at my job this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd be admirable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
like, I don't think I'm gonna go to hell for anything I've done this year.
I don't think anything that you've done has been impish. There's been, like, nothing that you've done. Like, I'm like, go off, queen. Like, everything that you've done to me has been admirable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say admirable.
I do, I've been, for some reason, my TV won't sign out of Amazon Prime account.
Mm-hmm.
So I could watch shows on there, but instead I just keep changing his profile name to Cheater or Dirty Rotten Cheater.
That's admirable. That's admirable right there.
I was like, okay.
You're doing God's work.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, he shares it with his friends, so I'm like, I wonder if because it does get changed back. So
no, that's amazing. I love that.
I think
that's beautiful.
Admirable.
Mm-hmm. You know what we should do? I don't know why that made me think of it. We should do the ugly JCPenney pictures.
We should.
Yeah, and like use them as like some of our like merch stuff or something. Yeah,
1,000% should.
Yeah, we should.
Okay, so very similar to Krampus, Belsnickel wields a bundle of sticks in one hand, which he uses to, they say, swat at children a lot. Beat them kids for being naughty. Children who were unable to account for their good behavior would get a swat or two. And for those who were nice, Belsnickel in his other hand has rewards. A sack of treats including small cakes and candies and nuts and other tangible prizes. So, Krampus, but rebranded, instead of throwing you in a sack and taking you to hell, he's like, have a little cake for being good.
It's like, I don't know why this made me think of it, but it made me think of, from our Thanksgiving episode, the Bahuas.
Literally. Have a little treat.
He was like, have a little treat, and then he turns you into the Belsnickel.
Yeah. There's a billion little Belsnickels running around. Are you eating beef or admirable?
This is an epidemic of people like hitting other people with sticks.
I would 1,000%. You cannot give me anything because I'm just like. I will hit someone with it instantly.
Just girly things.
Mm-hmm.
How can a YouTube commenter say that we have no chemistry and are boring?
Yeah. Sorry, you don't know what friends look like.
Yeah, literally. Anyway.
One of the tests he does is he'll throw cakes and candies onto the floor, and children that run greedily to grab them, he's like, oh, you're bad. Swat, swat.
Who does that?
Patience is a virtue. It's like, literally like a dog with a treat, being like, here you go. Wait. Stay.
If he throws it out to get it, why would you not run at it?
You get swatted.
That's so mean.
I'm just learning. You would get swatted.
I would. Unless he'd said, if he was like, everybody, like, wait, then I'd wait.
Yeah. No.
But he didn't say that.
I think he just wants to.
I think so too.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
Anyway.
So his visit coming before Christmas Day is thought to kind of give kids a warning, be like, hey, you still have a little bit of time to turn it around if you've been a little brat this year.
You got
2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks. I thought...
You got 2 weeks before Christmas, before St. Nick comes down here, so you better get it together.
Gotcha.
So basically, behave.
I don't think you can undo a year's worth of bad behavior in 2 weeks.
No.
I mean, I guess it's a way
From a religious standpoint, I don't think so.
No.
From a parent trying to get their kid to behave standpoint.
Yeah, that would be like, please.
I will take 2 weeks if that's all I get.
I will get you as many presents. You can have as many cakes as you want as long as you behave these last 2 weeks. Please give mommy a break.
A little fun thing about Belsnickel specifically. And if you saw the Office episode, I think you know where this is going to go. He has a companion and a sidekick that's a little bit problematic. By a little bit, I mean a lot. I mean entirely.
I mean, like, super problematic.
Yeah. He's known as Svarte Pete, which translates to Black Pete.
Huh?
And he's a character who assists St. Nicholas and gives gift to children who behave. But this character is depicted using blackface. Hence the name. Were we surprised where that was going? In the 20th century, there's been kind of a movement to get this character into a more appropriate realm, which I think they could go back to the drawing board on that one, because he's now Sooty Pete, which is a guy just covered in soot. So they don't use as much black when they use their blackface, because he's just covered in soot. Yeah. I did see, I don't know if I can find it. Interesting. Someone asked on Reddit, in like a Reddit historians thread, about this character, and they're like, is there any compelling reason that you could consider this not racist? Because from what I've seen, this looks pretty racist. So giving them an opportunity to defend their folklore. And only one person answered in a very long, well-written answer, but basically in the most condensed Jasmine way of saying it. The character itself is inherently racist because the black skin was thought to be a representation of like how much demonic energy you had. So yeah, that Redditor was like, no matter how you write it,
nope,
this isn't great. This isn't good.
I think you proved my point even further, in fact.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like you can't talk about him without maybe mentioning that part of it.
Yep.
Anyway. Belsnickel is related to other companions of St. Nicholas. He may have been based on an older German myth about St. Nicholas from northern Germany and adapted over time. He doesn't directly accompany St. Nick like a few other things in the Santa Clan. But he visits kids alone. He has his own day. And I need to ask, it always goes back to Bettina. So she grew up, her mom is from northern Germany, and she grew up doing a few different very German holidays. So they do have like a St. Nick's Day on the 6th. Mm-hmm. And then I wonder if they do this the night before. Yeah. So I could so see her mom being like, naughty children.
Yeah. Just beating them. Oh my God. You're bad. You have 2 weeks to turn it around.
So yeah, people can definitely see the resemblance to Krampus versus Belsnickel because they're all over the character. Mm-hmm. Very similar. But I think one of the biggest differences is that Belsnickel is considered a human and Krampus is considered a demon.
Yeah. Krampus is a hear me out. Belsnickel is not.
He's your weird uncle.
He is that guy that you like try to avoid at family gatherings. Everybody tells really weird stories of him.
Yeah.
Nobody really wants to talk to him.
Goes up to the kids, are you impish or admirable?
And then hits them.
Yeah.
And it's always like, Uncle Bell, stop it.
Take this candy, just kidding.
Eat a cake, you'll turn into me.
Belsnickel's everywhere. So yeah, that's all I got. Yay! Go look up the Office clip. I think that's a very good synopsis of what I just told you here.
Yeah, if we could put it in there without getting copyrighted.
Yeah.
Not like it matters if we get copyrighted.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future.
So thank you so much for listening to our presentations. And as you gather around with your friends and family today, I hope you take the time to pay your respect to all those who came before Mr. Santa Claus. Come on, Mr. Santa Claus.
I want to do it. Let's just dance. Please don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook. It's whatwasthat_the pod. Or email us with your stories at whatwasthat.thepod. We want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, which is today, and Happy Holidays to everyone. Be safe, be happy. Wait, did you hear that? It sounded like hooves. Could that be? Wait, what was that?